What you guys, got another video here for you. Microsoft finally lets you skip Windows 11 startup updates. Now, Microsoft is changing how Windows updates work to make it more user-friendly and less irritating. Now, we talked about this in previous videos, but this is another new feature that Microsoft have just added to the setup phase of Windows 11. Now, we talked about in previous videos about the ability to pause Windows updates for as long as you want is finally coming to Windows 11, and we discussed that in yesterday's video. But another highly requested update related feature has been finally made possible. If you work in the IT industry or PC repair industry, you'll know that when you're installing Windows 11, you're normally forced to do Windows updates during the setup phase, which is in the out-of-box experience phase. You will get a window popping up telling you that you need to update Windows, and this can slow the whole setup phase right down to a grinding halt, especially if the person has really poor internet, because you have to be online to be able to install Windows 11. And if you have pretty poor internet speeds during the setup phase, which is the installation of Windows here, you'll see that normally what happens is you are forced to do a full Windows update, and this can take quite a long time, and you can't skip out of it. As soon as you start rebooting the PC, it will start the initiation of the Windows updates. You can see right here it's checking for Windows updates, and before we can finish the setup of Windows 11 and get to the desktop, it will initiate a Windows updates window like this, and it says getting the latest features and security updates. And this can take quite a long time to download the update and then install all the updates during the setup phase. But you can see right here, we do now have a little update later at the bottom of this. So this is another added feature that Microsoft are adding into Windows 11 to give you more control over updates and when you want to install updates on the system. Now, doing it during the out-of-box experience phase, which is the Windows 11 setup phase like this, it does take a long time and it can slow down the whole process. But if we click on this update later, it's going to kick us out of this update phase right here, and it will say something went wrong. Let me show you what it actually does here. So you can see now we've said update later and it says complete updates now. This will be to continue with this update process, or we can say update later one more time and it will kick us off this update phase. So let's go ahead and do that, and it'll say we're sorry, the update couldn't be completed. So we can now continue here, and this will then continue on with the out-of-box experience, which is the final setting up of Windows 11. And as you can see, we've now skipped this and it's now going ahead and going to take us to the desktop. Now you can always update Windows once you get to the desktop, and this is what one of the biggest complaints for a lot of Windows users have been, where during the setup phase, you have to go through that whole Windows update phase, which does take quite a bit of time and adds more time to the installation of Windows 11. So as I said yesterday, there is major changes coming to Windows 11, and these are all massive improvements on what Windows 11 has been in the past. I think these are a step in the right direction. Microsoft are listening and they are making these changes as they promised in that blog post, which I showed in yesterday's video, and I've shown in other videos where this was one of their big major commitments to making changes to the Windows update section. In yesterday's video, I showed you how you can pause updates for longer periods and how they're adding a calendar part in there where you can make changes to the update sequence in there, giving you much more full control over when you want to update and install any sort of feature updates or updates on that system. And there we are, we're at the desktop now. Now, what we can do at this stage is you can go into settings and Windows updates to basically do your updates at the desktop, which I think is always quicker rather than doing it inside the out-of-box experience Windows 11 setup phase, because that is just adding more time during the installation. Now, of course, I can now go ahead and click on download and install all of these updates right here when I'm at the desktop. And you might be wondering, what's the difference? Well, it just depends on what you want to do. You might want to carry on setting up your PC and do this at a later date when you're off the computer. Maybe you're busy with work and you want to get back to the desktop and start working, and you can do, and you can run all these updates when you're going to bed and leaving the computer on and let these run overnight. So it just depends on what your criteria is and what you need it for. So I think it's a step in the right direction personally. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. It really does help out. My name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. Just want to say a quick shout out to all my YouTube members who have joined my YouTube members group. I really do appreciate the support. I shall see you on the next video or catch you on the Discord server. Bye for now.